casino laying down. We're going to give the information, we're going to contend against it, and we're going to give you the information so that you can make up your mind too. Let's talk about this. I know you've seen it. The movie Footloose. This isn't Footloose, right? Footloose is some old stick in the mud, nobody liked him. Through this to say, how does a casino stay in business when you keep losing? And they want you to lose big. Let's look at this story. Here's what's on. What channel is this? WSLS 10 reported this. Look, y'all, let's start out. I'm going to play their commercial. They just started airing their commercials today, and so we're doing our program tonight because we want to have immediate response to, I don't really find anything too special about this commercial, but I am going to try to help you see through a lot of the smoke and mirrors of it. Look at this, y'all. When I said, help you make an informed decision, the casino is not your friend. And I have to say this, you know, they say with friends like these, who needs enemies? I just don't understand why the city council, and let's go over here. I know that we have new viewers right now, people who are for the casino when they're checking this broadcast out for the first time. Let's look at a Bible passage. This is Jude, verse number 3, and it says, Christians are to earnestly contend. So, we Christians in Danville are not fixing to take this casino laying down. We're going to give the information, we're going to contend against it, and we're going to give you the information so that you can make up your mind too. Let's talk about this. I know you've seen it. The movie Footloose. This isn't Footloose, right? Footloose is some old stick in the mud, nobody liked him. I'm 27 and I'm coming on here saying, look, y'all, we can reason through this to say, how does a casino stay in business when you keep losing? And they want you to lose big. Let's look at this story. Here's what's on. What channel is this? WSLS 10 reported this. Look, y'all, let's start out. I'm going to play their commercial. They just started airing their commercials today, and so we're doing our program tonight because we want to have immediate response to, I don't really find anything too special about this commercial, but I am going to try to help you see through a lot of the smoke and mirrors of it. Look at this, y'all. When I said, help you make an informed decision, the casino is not your friend. And I have to say this, you know, they say with friends like these, who needs enemies? I just don't understand why the city council members who know better said, well, they made up their reasons as to why they wanted to vote yes to give opportunity to vote in November. Look at this. Why do you think it is the case? This is not our main point tonight, but just bear with me. Why do you think it is the case that in this location that they're planning for the future, 2,000 slot machines, 75 table games, 16 poker tables, and sportsbook? Why do you think it is they have so many slot machines? Because this is where people will spend the majority of their time, and they will lose consistently, and they will get your dollar. Now, let's go up here and play their commercial just so that we can examine this real quick. There's nothing to this commercial, y'all, and I want to just play it, let you see what they're trying to put out there, and then you and I, let's talk about it, and let's be realistic with this, y'all. This is advertising. Look, advertising, y'all, is only about convincing you that you need their product. They do not care about your happiness. They don't want you to win. They don't want you to have a better future. Let's look at this. Now that's it. Now let's talk about this real quick. You saw it. That's their commercial. Don't mind playing it because I just don't think there's too much to it. Look at this story and the words, the way that they're talking to you now. Look at this. This is from our mayor in Danville, Alonzo Jones. Look what he says. This project is anticipated to generate. Now, why am I keying in on this? Look, y'all, when they're in the planning stages, they can say whatever they want to you. And when you saw the building in that commercial that they computer generated up, if it gets here, let's say it gets voted in and it gets here, do you think it's really going to look like that? They don't have anything that they owe you. They can tell you what they want to say, and all this right now is in the what-if stages. Well, what if this? Maybe that. It's anticipated. We expect. And then they talk about averages. The averages don't mean anything. Do you recognize there are 3 ways to make up an average, and they're not telling you what they really mean by that? All this is advertising. Now, let's do this real quick. Remember this now. The Church of Christ in Martinsville, the Church of Christ in Danville is encouraging you to remember to vote no in November. Casino, crime, bankruptcy, and depression. Now, one thing that we're saying about this, and don't let the entertainment aspect, someone says, well, maybe we're not going to gamble so much, but it's a good means to have entertainment. You know, this is what we said earlier today at 4 o'clock. Yeah, there'll be entertainment. There'll be a magic show, and the trick is they make your money disappear. This whole business structure is designed for you to lose, and they win off of you to losing. Now, let's look at this. Here's their commercial right off the bat. Now, I said this earlier. Eugene Grant didn't like it. For our new viewers who are watching about the casino and they wanted to hear the opposition for the casino, Eugene Grant, just a local individual, but he didn't like what I had to say about Patti LaBelle. I'm saying as a 27-year-old, that didn't catch my eye. I'm just saying, if you're going to try to wow us and you're saying big plans, you could have gone bigger than Patti LaBelle. Now, that's just me, and I'm going to be fair across the board. Jason Mraz, that's a one-hit wonder. That's nothing special. He had that one song on the radio. Starting out, I'm a 27-year-old, I'm local, this is not impressive. But now let's think about this. Smoke and mirrors, advertising. Have you ever watched, like I know you have, you watch commercials more than you're watching the actual show, these commercials. And let's talk about this. You watch an alcohol commercial. Bud Light comes on. And now let's not say Bud Light. Let's pick a different one. Remember that guy who would always say, I don't always drink, but when I do, I drink this brand? Do you know what the setting would be? He'd be super comfortable in like some dark corner, and he would almost always be surrounded by women. Is that what it's like when you drink? No, I don't ever have women around me. I'm just at home drinking in my armchair. But that's a commercial. The commercials are trying to get you to think, oh man, if we drink their brand of alcohol, we're going to have a great time. We'll take it to the party. Everybody have a great time. You know, you take it to the party and you're the one dude posted up against the wall. You're holding the wall up. You're not having a good time, but I am drinking. That's advertising. Look, y'all, they went so far. And with this commercial, do you see this right here? So far, and this is so unrealistic. You could at least know your audience, and I'm saying maybe they do. They're just big time trying to play y'all. You are not going to be driving a Ferrari. You're saying, I'm going to go down to the new casino in Danville, I'm going to win big, and I'm going to drive away in a Ferrari. No, you're not. And you know what? Whoever the higher-ups of the casino, they pull up, and they're driving a Ferrari. And who paid for it? You, the Danville citizen. They get out of their car, and you say, hey, man, that's a nice car, nice Ferrari. And he looks at you, and he says, yeah, and if you keep gambling, I'll get a new one next year. This is advertising. This is their smoke and mirrors, and you can see right through it. This is so easy to see right through it. Now, all of this is totally unrealistic. You're not going to be driving away in a Ferrari when you go to the Danville Casino if it gets to come, and we're saying vote no in November. But now here's how the commercial closes out. Y'all, did they check in to where they were coming to? It's like, look at this. Here's the audience of who's going to the casino in Danville. Everybody is like super professional, and they're trying to sell that to the community. Look, know your audience. And I'm saying for people who say, well, Caleb, I like this look. I like, business. These guys over here in their button-downs and their slacks, if you want to call that business casual, I like that look. Okay, fine. But I'm telling you, this is more realistically what it's going to be like. You're going to have people blowing smoke on you while you walk by. You're going to have all different types of people coming in with their pants down. It's not going to be this. So don't have it in your mind. Look, y'all, this is advertising. This is advertising 101. And I'm talking about, really blew it with the Ferrari. You're not going to do that. You're not going to win big over the casino. But what you can look at statistically speaking, you will lose. But statistically speaking, what else happens? University study after university study, and also, y'all, you can find things like universities and the Center for Disease Control that talks about addictions. Y'all, when you have commercials come on the internet, or not the internet, or the radio, and they talk about different types of gambling, they get that real sped up clip at the end about the problem gambling helpline. This is what the casino is going to look like. You're not going to be finding all this business casual, this nice lady over here in her nice little pantsuit or whatever skirt suit that she's wearing, this guy over here, black suit, black tie. You're not going to have that. But they sure want you to think. You say, well, Caleb, what do you want them to do? How do you want them to advertise it? They want us to want the casino. I'm telling you right now, on the first day of advertising, they're doing a bad job. They're throwing out the celebrities about who you're going to see, and I already said I don't care about really seeing those celebrities. But then you keep looking at it, they throw the Ferrari in your face. You're not going to be driving a Ferrari, but the heads of the casino, maybe they'll be driving a Ferrari, and then they show you this whole atmosphere. That's not it. So now are you with me on the advertising? It's a beer commercial. That's all it is. And it's not just, look, y'all, it's not just a beer commercial. You know how advertising goes. You see all these medicine commercials come on, and the people in a medicine commercial are having a good time. You know, I have to get monthly medicine. It's not fun. This casino, this is advertising. They're trying to make you think, well, Caleb is saying that we're probably not going to win, but maybe I'll be the one who goes down there and beats a slot machine. No, they're putting 2,000 slot machines in that building because they are very, very confident that they can win more than you will. Just watch with me, y'all. Let's stick with this, okay? When we're looking at these points this evening, I want to show you a statement that was made by our mayor in Danville, Alonzo Jones. Listen to what he says. It's all that he's saying is the same thing that WSLS, the statement came where they were saying, what is it, 2,500 seating auditorium. He's just parroting those numbers, those what-ifs, and those maybes. They can tell you anything on the front end because nothing is started, right? They can make it sound as good as they want it to, but listen to what he says.
Center and a 2,500 seat live entertainment venue. All in little old Danville. All in little old Danville. All in little old Danville. All in little old Danville.
Now that's what I want to build on tonight. Let's talk about some advertising, right? He says, all in little old Danville. And he makes it sound so good. We're going to get this big building. It's going to bring all these jobs. It's going to bring in an average salary of whatever they're saying, and they're not telling you how they gathered up that average. Now, let me make a commercial, too, for the YouTube channel. If you go onto Johnny Robertson's YouTube channel and you find this broadcast, this is from August 23rd, Johnny Robertson Casino Battle, and look what it says at the end. Texas A&M engineer explains statistics. We had a Texas A&M graduate call in who has actually taught statistics in the military to colonels and generals. He has taught them statistics and how to misuse statistics. He called into the broadcast. You need to hear it because they're not even telling you about how they're gathering up their statistics. But now, let's look at this. Alonzo Jones says, all happening in little old Danville. And tonight, as we're getting going, this is what I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about a place called little old Durant, Oklahoma. Now, you see the state here. You see where Dallas is. This is the Choctaw Casino in Durant, Oklahoma. Now, you ever heard of that? You ever heard of Durant, Oklahoma? I'm sure that you have not. I had a neighbor not too long ago, and he was from Ardmore. I said, yeah, man, I know exactly where Ardmore is. But you all in Virginia, you don't know about Durant any more than the folk down in Durant know about Danville, right? So when Alonzo Jones, your mayor in Danville, says all this is going to be great and it's going to be happening in little old Danville. Well, let's talk about little old Durant because little old Durant has a casino of their own. They have a Choctaw casino down there, and I would like to show you what it is doing for their community. Now let's pause. You know where we're headed, but let's pause. The way that the casino advertises, they say expected, estimated, anticipated. See, they throw these terms out where they say, well, this is what we have an idea of, but they're not making any promises to you, right? What if it came out to be just so much smaller than what they anticipated? Well, what are you going to say back to it? You can't say anything if it gets here. They can do what they want at that point. But here's what I'm saying. There are more expectations when you start bringing casinos in. There's more possible anticipations. There are things that could come along, and what's happening in Durant, Oklahoma. Now, let's look at this. Are you ready for this? Here we go. This is a new story from 2014. Now, you might be saying, well, Caleb, that's 6 years ago. Wait a second. Look at this headline. 10 arrested in a prostitution sting at Choctaw Casino. Now, I asked Larry Campbell, City Council member Larry Campbell, what they were going to do about the expected crime rate once a casino gets here. And all he could say was, I don't want to say anything on the record. I don't want to be recorded. He just sat through a city council meeting that went out over the internet, but he didn't want to answer to me. Now, are y'all ready for this? Is this what you would like to have happen to little old Danville? Can we say that this is an anticipated thing? This is an expected outcome of the casino? I can say that just as much as they can. They have expectations, they have plans, they have things that they think will come along. I'm saying I have no reason to think that little old Danville will be any different than little old Durant, where they had 10 arrested in a prostitution sting at the Choctaw Casino, including 4 men, 6 women, and an undercover prostitution sting at the Choctaw Casino Hotel in Oklahoma. Now, y'all, surely nobody's going to look at this story and say, only 10 people? That's not very big. Are you kidding me? How much prostitution do you want going on in a town? Now, let's talk about this. You might be saying, well, that's a fluke. That's a fluke that they had this whole sting happening at the Choctaw Casino in Durant, Oklahoma. No, it's not. Let's go back to this map. My aunts and my grandmother, they live right across the state line in Texas. And there are people from different places. Someone says, well, about the tourism. People from right across the state line in Texas come over in Oklahoma, and they go there. They go to the Choctaw Casino. And someone says, well, there you go, Caleb, you're making my point. What's your point? How do you know how many people are not going across state lines, and they're saying, well, yeah, I want to gamble, but I don't want to be alone tonight. I'd like for her to go with me to the tables, and we'd like to have a good time. Even, I'm saying station owner, right? Even Charles Rourke said he went to Las Vegas, and he said that was a nice lady. He said a nice prostitute tried to proposition me. You don't know what it's going to be like. Little old Danville with a prostitution sting. Is that what we're anticipating with the casino? Man, I sure hope not. And let's talk about this, y'all. Let's go to this. Let's leave this for a moment. Let's leave little old Durant, and let's go to Atlantic City. Okay? Let's go to YouTube for another news story at Atlantic City. Here we go. You ready?
Evidence in the case.
These were ladies who had a particular lifestyle, a lifestyle that caused them to want to live below the radar.
All 4 women worked as prostitutes. They were also all mothers. Police have never identified a suspect in these murders, but...
Now, here is a news story. I'm saying to you, you say, well, that's just a fluke. That in little old Durant, Oklahoma, they had a prostitution sting where they got 10 people. What did they say? 4 men, 6 women. That's just a fluke. Well, if you go over here and you look at this news story from Atlantic City, they had these 4 women, all prostitutes, that were murdered, and they never even had a suspect. And on top of that, all 4 of these women were mothers. Now, let's be honest here. Let's talk together, okay? Let's forget the money. I'm saying to you that if you do your research, you can find places that were individuals who lived in Memphis, Tennessee. They would travel across state lines to go to casinos. They would go to riverboats in Mississippi. And you can find just loads of studies and statistics where those people would just squander their retirement fund. They would just squander their child's education savings. Let's not even talk about that. Let's talk about this. In this news story that actually happened in Atlantic City, one of these ladies is not from Atlantic City. She traveled up from Florida for the sole purpose of becoming a dancer at a club in Atlantic City, and then it turned into full-blown prostitution. Now let's talk about citizens in Danville, Virginia. You're saying you don't know that that's going to happen. Well, what did I say? I said the casino is saying anticipating, expecting, planning. They're using those terms, and I'm saying if I'm seeing these stories happen in Atlantic City, and I'm seeing it happen in little old Durant, Oklahoma, then I'm sure it can happen in little old Danville, Virginia, and I don't want that to happen. And I'm saying you're watching at home right now, you probably don't want that to happen either. Let's look at these women. 4 men, 6 women. Now let's talk about this. You know the men aren't good. These men are not being good to these women. You're saying, well, Caleb, that's just silly. That's obvious that they're not. I'm saying, if these are the things that comes along, 10 arrested in a prostitution sting at Choctaw Casino. Do you want Danville known that way in the headlines? Man, y'all. I'm saying Danville and Martinsville have already had some pretty bad headlines in the past. Do you want this to be our future headlines? Anticipating headlines, right? Expecting these in the headlines. I don't want that. I think that you, deep down, you don't want that either for your daughter, your granddaughter, or you yourself. You don't want anybody involved in this. Now, let's talk about this. 2014. Someone says, that's a fluke, Caleb, and you can't just tag that to the casinos. Well, now let's look at this. 2015, let me zoom in. 3 busted. Now, don't get confused. When it says Texoma, that's the same area of Durant. We're going from 2014 to 2015, and what's happening? 3 busted in Texoma prostitution sting. You have all these individuals, you got their name, and look at this, isn't that just awful? And I mean that sincerely, y'all. I'm 27 years old. This is awful that Mache and Alice in 2015, a 25-year-old and a 27-year-old, were arrested by Durant police Friday for engaging in prostitution. Then you have this 45-year-old who also is being arrested. He is suspected of soliciting a prostitute. And look at this. Timothy Hampton ends up on the news that night. Why? Because he's in Durant, where the Choctaw Casino is, and he thought, well, might as well. I'll get a prostitute. And now you're all over the news. Now, let's talk about this. How do you know, y'all? You never make plans to get into trouble. You're making plans to go lose, but you don't make plans to get into trouble. Do you think that Timothy Hampton, when he went to Durant that night, when he went out that night, he thought, you know what, I might end up on the news tonight. And everybody who works with me and everybody down at church where I go to church, everybody, my mom and my grandma, are going to see me on TV with 2 prostitutes. Are you anticipating that for Danville? And I'm telling you, y'all, I anticipate a raise in the crime rate for Danville, Virginia. And someone says, well, why would you think that? Why would I not? It is consistently happening in other locations, and if it's not, you might, what you say, well, what type of crime are you talking about? Well, right now we're talking about prostitution. But if not that, we're talking about fraud. Let's keep going with this. You got 2015. Now, keep up with the point I'm making here. Let's go backwards. In 2014, they had 10 people arrested in a prostitution sting at Choctaw Casino. In 2015, they have 3 in Durant, Texoma, that's the same thing, in Durant, busted in a prostitution sting. Young ladies, 25 to 27. You got granddaughters that are 25, 27, you don't want them messing around in this. But that's what you're getting. That's what Durant was getting in a casino atmosphere. Now, here's another one. Look at this. March 2017. Prostitution arrests made at spa locations in Durant. The Red Lotus Spa also has at least 2 other locations in Oklahoma, one located on North Commerce Street in Ardmore, and then another location that it doesn't give. Now, think with me on this. You see the point I'm making? You say, well, Caleb, that just was a coincidence that they were having this prostitution sting over at the Choctaw Casino in Durant. 3 years in a row? 3 years in a row they had this coincidence where they just can't seem to shake prostitution in little old Durant. Let's go back. Why you say, why you keep saying that? Maybe you just tuned into this broadcast. Let's listen to Mayor Alonzo Jones. This is Mayor of Danville. Listen to this.
Live entertainment venue. All in little old Danville. All in little old Danville. All in little old Danville.
That's why I'm saying that. Little old Durant, Oklahoma just can't seem to shake prostitution. And I'm saying with all these plans and promises and anticipation and expectations, we should be expecting to see a rise in crime. Now, let's stop and make another point, y'all. Like I said, I know I've got new viewers tonight, and this is an hour-long broadcast. I know that I have new viewers tonight who are tuning in to see what the Church of Christ is going to say against the casino. I am not out of my mind, and let me tell you why. In January of this year, we went to the Danville City Council meeting. One of the first citizens who got up, do you know what he asked for? Well, number one, I think he was complaining about a gun range. I think that he did not like the location of a gun range. So he voiced his complaint. This is a citizen in Danville. He voices his complaint. I don't like where that gun range is. And the next thing that he says was, you know, since we're all here and we're talking about bringing possible revenue to the city, he said, I would like to propose a plan that we open a strip club. And he said, I think that would bring revenue to the city. They were there. They were having a city council meeting that night to talk about the possibility of getting our November vote for the casino, and a citizen raises up and says, well, why not a strip club? Hey, man, why stop there? Do like they're doing at the Lotus Spa. See, that's exactly where we're heading. Expectations, anticipating, possibly, maybe. Someone says, well, Caleb, I don't like the way that you're just throwing all this around and saying like it's definitely going to happen. I'm saying expectation. I'm saying anticipating. And that's exactly what they're saying in all these news stories. We anticipate this many jobs. We anticipate this much revenue. You know, and here's the thing, too. They're anticipating all this revenue from a casino in Danville. What happens if we get a casino right across the state lines in North Carolina? What happens if a new casino opens up in Bristol? Because that's being proposed also. You know what that's going to do? That's going to cut their numbers down to fractions of what they are anticipating for you in Danville. All I'm saying right now is don't get your hopes up. Don't buy into this hook, line, and sinker just because somebody, look, I'm wearing a suit, but I'm saying some dude came in a suit and told you, we're going to pour millions of dollars into little old Danville. And what's coming with it? There's no such thing as a free lunch. So where are y'all getting this idea that we're not going to have any type of consequences? Now, let me show you another news story. As we say, the millions that come with it. Little old Durant, little old Danville. Listen to this news story.
Has charged these 2 men and 3 others for running prostitution parlors disguised as spas.
And 13 Action News reporter Brian Callahan now digs into the indictment. It indicates the men earned close to $3 million. 5 men are facing a laundry list of felonies.
Now, when you're talking about anticipating and expectation of these great plans, let's talk about revenue, generating $3 million worth of revenue. These individuals did it by running a prostitution ring out of their massage parlor. Man, now you're seeing it in all these news stories, right? Choctaw Casino, 10 arrested at the Choctaw Casino in Durant, Oklahoma for a prostitution sting. You get these 2 young ladies. Man, let's talk about this, y'all. Man, oh man. So you're talking about you want to make a quick couple $100, right? You're going to the casino and you say, well, Caleb, I'm not one of these addicts. I can walk away from the table. You say that now. We'll see. You know, if it gets here, we'll see how you're doing. Man, y'all, I'm saying these women have, and I know I'm going backwards on my points, but these women have their whole lives ahead of them. And we're going to be cultivating an atmosphere where we consistently see that casinos bring prostitution. The video that we just played, this was happening in Las Vegas. We've already seen it happen in Atlantic City. I'm showing you little old Durant, and we're saying, what should we anticipate? What should we expect for little old Danville? Now, while Charles was doing his show before I came on, there were multiple local citizens who were saying they did not support it. They said that they probably wouldn't go. And here's our thing. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. Let's take a moment and say this. Don't just call in and say, I probably won't go. If you are a citizen in the city of Danville and you have the voting opportunity, vote no in November for the casino. Crime, bankruptcy, depression. You are not going to win big. You will be a big loser. If you think that you're going to go in, and what do they call the slot machines? The one-armed bandit. You are not going to win. And let's say this too, y'all. when you go into the casino, you are not Dustin Hoffman. This ain't Rain Man. You're not going to go and someone says, well, I can count cards, Caleb. You are not going to go in, and what's the other saying about gambling? The house always wins. I don't know how it is that you and I have seen this long list of casino movies, and you don't know all the cliches. And you say, I do know the cliches. Well, you don't believe them. House always wins. You say, well, I think that the casino will be good for the city of Danville. Let's keep going. Now, we're fixing to make a move. It's going to be the exact same thing, but I have to make a move and show you something, okay? We're going from 10 busted at the Choctaw Casino. These two young ladies text home a prostitution sting, and then the massage parlor, the Red Lotus Spa, and as you can see by the picture, the name, their names, this is an Asian massage parlor. I'm going to be honest with you on this next one. I don't think that they were fooling anybody. Ardmore woman arrested in prostitution raid, and they just called the place Singapore Massage, and that's it. Now, do you see where I have underlined 2018? Look at this area, just cannot shake prostitution. 2014, 2015, 2017, 2018. Now, I'm going to zoom in here a little bit, and you can see this is a Google map. You might be watching right now, and you might be saying, well, Caleb, you were telling us all about little old Durant. Little old Durant. Now you're talking about a place called Ardmore. Look, y'all, Ardmore is right down the road from Durant. So when somebody says, oh, well, they had prostitution over in Ardmore, that is nothing to be at the Choctaw Casino and drive over to Ardmore where your buddy says, hey, you should go to Singapore Massage. Well, why would I go to Ardmore? See, it's not a big deal. Now let me show you what this means. Are you with me on this? We did advertising 101 on that commercial that they did. You're not going to drive. They wanted to show you the nicest car they could. Oh, man, look at this Ferrari in front of the Danville Casino. You are not going to be driving a Ferrari. And let's talk about it right now. Are you driving a Ferrari right now? No? You say the nicest car that we see around Danville is Lawrence Campbell driving his Bentley when he goes to his $800,000 house. And Larry Campbell Jr. said, let's vote on it. He said, yes, let's vote on it in November. He had an opportunity to say no. Now, someone has asked me before, why are you picking on Larry Campbell? I am choosing to talk about City Council member Larry Campbell so much because his father, Lawrence Campbell, calls himself the apostle to the world. And they're not openly, vocally calling out against the casino. It's a joke. Are you with me on this? Look at what it's going to turn into. Singapore Massage, Ardmore, woman arrested in prostitution raid. And can I tell you in some of these stories how easy it is? Do you know how these stings are working, these prostitution stings? They are sending deputies into these massage parlors, and the deputy just signs up to get a normal massage. He's getting a massage, and if he becomes solicited for something else, he takes it, they arrest him. It's that easy. Now, I don't understand why that people would not anticipate and expect. That's how they frame all their news stories. We anticipate, we expect. If that's all it takes, man, Singapore Massage, Ardmore is right down the road, and so this is what we can anticipate. This is what we could possibly expect. Now, this is a map of our area, and the highlighted areas. Look at this. Here's Danville, and that's where the proposed casino is going to be, and we have just seen all these years worth of news stories in little old Durant of all this continuous prostitution. But now, let's think about it this way. You say, Caleb, you switched from Durant to Ardmore, Oklahoma, where they had Singapore Massage. Do you know what we could possibly expect, we could possibly anticipate in that fashion? Maybe you're not going to find a Singapore Massage in Danville. Maybe you'll find it out in Ringgold. If they had the Choctaw Casino in Durant, and people were willing to drive out from Durant to Ardmore to go to the Singapore Massage, where the prostitution sting was going on, then they'd be willing to drive out to Ringgold. Now let's look at this. They'd be willing to drive up to Chatham. Maybe Chatham is going to get their Singapore Massage. Maybe they're going to get it in Blair's. You know what? Hey, let's all drive out to Blair's and see the Tank Museum and then go to Singapore Massage. Maybe they're going to go over here and they're going to go to Brosville. Maybe Brosville's going to get its Singapore massage. Maybe Ridgeway's going to get its Singapore massage. Do you know, are you catching on what Singapore massage means? That means prostitution. That's what those folk were doing in Ardmore. If you think it won't come to Martinsville, you're out of your mind. People will not have a problem hopping in their car, leaving the casino in Danville, drive to Martinsville to go to Singapore massage. And here is Lee Vogler and Alonzo Jones smiling. That's how he started out this press conference. Let's go back to this. You say, Caleb, you're mistreating Alonzo Jones. No, I'm not. And Alonzo Jones is an educated man. He could find all these stats, statistics, and news stories just like I could, but look at what he says instead. Here we go.
I wish you can see the smile that's on my face. Oh, you can? I'm going to ask all the council members.
I wish you could see the smile on my face. I don't think there's anything to smile about when we start talking about what we could possibly expect, what we could anticipate while they give us these open-ended promises that they don't owe you anything once they make these promises and all these speculations of what's going to come. They don't owe you anything. You see on the commercial, well, that dude was driving up in a Ferrari. That might be me. You may not have a car by the time this is done. You know what? You go in, you're at the table, you're filling your pockets, you ain't got nothing, and here you go, man. Here you go, man. Let it ride on my car keys. You've seen, you know the news stories, you know the statistics, you know the college studies, and if nothing else, you know the movies. You know how Hollywood has shown you the casino, and for some reason we're saying in Danville, maybe not us. Maybe it'll be different. Maybe we will win big. Alonzo Jones comes up and he says, I wish you could see my smile. Here's the smile. And it's surrounded by possible locations for Singapore massage, just like in little old Durant. Little old Durant had the Choctaw Casino, and little old Ardmore had the Singapore massage. Little old Danville gets the casino. Little old Ringgold gets Singapore massage. Little old Chatham, Singapore massage. You don't want that. Now, you can say, I'm just being a stick in the mud. You know, I like to have a good time as much as the next person. What I'm trying to do right now is help us make, now let me tell you this, make smart choices. I asked a lady in Danville, I said, are you for or against the casino? She said, I haven't made up my mind. It's Sunday, I'm wearing a suit and a tie. She said, what about you? I said, I'm against it. And she said, I figured. So she basically stereotypes, and that's fine. Sunday, suit and a tie. She thinks I'm a churchgoer. And I said, you know, morally I'm against it. Yes, I am. I said, but I'm against it economically also, and I'm against it in a civil sense. I'm against these things, against the idea of a casino coming in. And at that point, her husband pipes in, and he says, the casino is the last thing that Danville needs. All I'm trying to do is, let's say this, let's make smart choices. You know, your marriage, your children's well-being, your mental health. You know how many people get in debt up to their neck, and what do? They kill themselves. Crime rate, suicide rate, all should be expected to rise if this happens. Now, I'm using terms just like they are. Anticipating, expecting, possibly, maybe. But I'm saying you could be doing research on your own and finding out just how awful this is. And there's so much more that we could have said, too. We didn't even mention the idea of, you know what they say about buying lottery tickets? They say, well, people that buy lottery tickets, they help out the education system. So what's going to happen to the lottery tickets if Danville gets a full-blown casino? Are you going to be playing lottery tickets and going to the casino? It's a lot of wasted money. And let's say this, that's probably not the only thing you're wasting money on. What's wrong? What's wrong with me coming on the broadcast and saying, you know, let's save some money. You worked hard. Let's save a little bit of that. Let's put that away for a rainy day. And I'm saying when you possibly need it. And we should expect that and anticipate that too. People using up all their money at the casino, and then they go to their friends and their family members who don't gamble and say, let's sit down, we need to talk. I'm not talking to you. I'm not about to hear this woe is me story. Let's do this. Should this be the commercial? Should we have this nice image? I think Charles had an estimation of what they spent on making this commercial. I said, I sure hope not. Because you didn't get too much out of that, did you? Look, this is just some empty promise. It doesn't even have to look like that. Who knows what it's going to look like? and all the fancy cars, the Ferraris that they would put in there, I'm asking you this. Where's the Singapore massage sign going to go? Is it going to be in Danville? Is it going to be on the premises like the one little old Durant story? They had 10 people at the Choctaw Casino busted in a prostitution sting. Is it going to be a little bit off the ways? Man, y'all, get ready for this. It's coming to Schoolfield. That's what the plan is. That's what the possibility is. We're coming to Schoolfield. Okay, so you need to be getting ready now on Arnett. You need to be getting ready on Piney Forest. You need to be getting ready on Riverside. Oh man, all the little hotels that are on Riverside, you need to be getting ready for this. Well, we anticipate and we expect, y'all, you know better than this. You know this is not a good call, and I come up here and I'm talking about your daughters and your granddaughters, trying to help them out. Do I need to take this one?
A little bit.
Okay, you're on live.
Hi, is this Caleb Robertson?
This is Caleb Robertson.
Man, I really appreciate the job you guys are doing trying to keep evil like casinos out of Virginia area. I'm actually from North Carolina, but I know it's just across the border,
Right.
Danville. And I mean, all we have to do is just look at statistics and stuff like that at places where those casinos have come in. And I mean, I'm a different denomination than you are. I know that, but I do know that, you know, there's gamble and stuff like that. That's evil stuff. That's what they did for Christ's clothes. They cast lots for our Savior's clothes, and now we're going to put people there, and we're going to legalize it. And Virginia and Southern Virginia and North Carolina, I mean, we're the Bible Belt here. What are people thinking?
Absolutely, I agree with that. Now, I've got on the screen, I think you would agree with this, Matthew 7:12. Therefore, all things whatsoever you would that men should do to you, do you even so to them. I can't gamble without my neighbor losing, and that's one reason why I couldn't participate in it.
And Caleb, think about all of the byproducts of such a corrupt sort of thing. I mean, we know that some places where casinos have gone in, that all sorts of corruption ensues. I mean, you know, there are even reports of like mafia and mob people coming in and stuff like that where gambling's going on. I mean, it's just unfathomable to think that we would let something like that come into North Carolina and into Virginia.
Yeah, and like you said,
what our denomination is, I mean, if we claim the name of Christ, then, you know, I mean, we need to rise up against this, and we need to stand up against this evil that's upon us.
Now, I would like to take what you're saying about, for everybody who's watching. Now, I'm a Christian, I'm a member of the body of Christ, and I don't know this man, I don't know if we've ever talked before, and he's letting everybody in the community know that he's not a member of the Church of Christ, but he does agree that we should be opposing the casino. So one thing that we would like to, and, you know, I appreciate this call, and I'm still talking with you, like we're still talking together. I've been very surprised how many, you know, like you're not a pastor, you're a member in the pew, right?
I'm a lay minister. I mean, I do praise and worship, and I introduce the congregation to the speakers and stuff like that.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm a pew member.
Okay, well, this is what I'm saying. I have had multiple pew members call me, and they say, my preacher is not talking against the casino, and I don't know why. So here's what we're saying. We're making these into yard signs. Casino, crime, bankruptcy, depression, vote no in November. If there are churches in Danville that would like to get a sign like this and put it in their lawn, we're fine with that. We'll give you the sign. If you're someone who lives in Danville and you say, well, I don't think my church would put it in their lawn, but I'll put it in my personal lawn, we'll give you the sign. No problem. Hey, man, I appreciate you calling in tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in my mind on this issue. I appreciate it.
All right, we appreciate you. You have a good night.
You keep up that good work.
We're trying. Now, that's what we're looking for. Now, one thing that I keyed in on, he said, just like I said, you can find statistics after statistics, news story, college report, all over the place. These type of things come with the casinos. Now, it's not going to be just, let's do this, y'all. I can't imagine that didn't bother you the way that Alonzo Jones said, all in little old Danville, and then I turn around and I show you little old Durant, and man, that town just cannot shake prostitution. And you say, well, at least it moved over to Ardmore. That ain't nothing. If it goes out to Ringgold, or if it goes over to Bronzeville or to Chatham or to Martinsville, that is not a good thing. We don't want any of that in Martinsville. I don't know about where y'all are in Chatham and Ringgold. I don't want any of that. Now, let's keep going. Let's move off this. I don't understand for the life of me. I don't know Lee Vogler's religious orientations. I do know that Alonzo Jones is a trustee over at Bible Way Cathedral, one of the largest apostolic denominations in town. I cannot believe that he is just smiling about this. He could find this information as well as I could. He's an educated man. He could find it. And they all had the opportunity to vote no, and they just said no to voting no. Now let's look at this. I'm going to give you one more thing about Durant. Little old Durant. Little old Danville. Now, the prostitution should have been enough, right? It should have been enough. 10 people in 2014 busted at Choctaw Casino in a prostitution sting. Then you got those 2 young ladies in their 20s. They're busted in 2015. Then you get those ladies over at the Lotus Massage Spa. They're busted. And then you get them over at Singapore Massage in Ardmore, just a little bit down the road. Now, here we go. Look at this. It is ridiculous what you can find and how easy it is to find. Man, little old Durant. If you can't tell what that is like a pyramid of blocks of marijuana. Durant police seize 41 pounds of marijuana estimated, right? That's what they all be saying about the casino. Estimated 41 pounds of marijuana seized by Durant police, estimated at $50,000. Well, what they're going to do is they're going to sell all that pot for $50,000, and then they're going to go over to the casino. Look, y'all, there's no reason. You say, and I'm fixing to have some more audio. The thought process behind city council is not good. And I'm saying these are all educated men, and I know that they know better. Danville already has a hard enough time. How they picked Danville? Man, I'm fixing to show you more crime numbers about the city of Danville. How they picked Danville, I have no clue. Schoolfield in Danville. Now look at this. Do you want to see a news story or a headline like this in the Danville Register and Bee? Do you want to see it in the Martinsville Bulletin? And I don't know about any of the other local newspapers. I don't want to see any type of news story involving 41 pounds of marijuana in this area. Okay, caller, you're online.
Hey, Caleb, this is Mark. I would suggest, not only for the voters to vote no casino, but it seems like we need to vote some more city council members in.
I agree with that.
You said something about education a while ago in the school system. It baffles me why they're not investing more into manufacturing jobs and into the school. We have dilapidated school buildings that are falling down, and I'm surprised that the teachers are not throwing a fit on the way they spending money. And what example is this showing the children? They claim to care so much about the children, but what child is going to see, like Alonzo Jones and Philip Campbell, Larry Campbell, members of supposed to be the religious elite, promoting gambling and might as well say prostitution. That's all going to come along. Like you said, it's going to come along with it. But to me, that shows that they're not concerned about children. They're not concerned about the children at all.
We should not be, the Church of Christ should not be the only religious entity in town that's making this much noise.
No, not at all.
Yeah, there should be a lot of conversation and uproar.
And it used to not be that way. I mean, I don't know what's happened to the so-called religious folk in town. They're promoting sin more than the ones that claim no religion. And
that really is like a statement to my own brethren who would say, well, there's a lot of people in the denominational community, they're close to us right now. In this fight, we're not getting any help. So I don't know who they would say is close to us. But there are plenty of people who could they're probably not going to host an hour broadcast like we're going to do, but they could at least be making commercials where they say, you know, my name is such and such, and I go over here, and we're reminding you vote no in November. They could at least do that much.
Well, I hope their voices are being heard in November against it. I appreciate your program.
All right, thank you for the call. Now, we know that we've got new viewers watching this, and so they're hearing different. Now, they heard somebody from North Carolina, and he's saying, I'm from North Carolina, and I'm not going to be driving across state lines to go to this casino. That caller is in the Danville area, and he's saying that not only should we be voting no in November to the casino, but that caller is saying that maybe we need to be voting out some people in the city council and getting some fresh meat in. I agree with that. We need to be getting somebody else in there who's going to be making better decisions. And he's, like they say, you know, they would say in the city council, we're just giving the people the opportunity to vote. I hear what they're saying, but this is me, and I'm saying if I had the opportunity to put next to my name, Caleb Robertson, it's going to say no. I'm going to vote no against it. You are in the city council position. You were voted in. Why? Because the people obviously thought you would represent their values. Well, if they are going to say you represent our values and their values we don't really want it, then you should feel confident voting no. But that's not what we saw from the different individuals on the city council. Now, how are you feeling about this? 41 pounds of marijuana seized in little old Durant. Now, here's what I want to look at. Here's Larry Campbell. I say this, you know, I've had multiple interactions with Larry Campbell, and some people, you interact with them, they're politicians. Sometimes you interact with people and they're salesmen, and they're just good with people. I think that Larry Campbell is a genuinely nice person. When he sees me, he's always polite. He is friendly. He does not like to be recorded, but he's a public figure. I don't know why he would have a problem with being recorded. I think he is a nice man. I think he's making horrible decisions right now. And this is basically the argumentation that he had going when he voted yes for the November vote that's coming up this year. Look at how he said this. I'm going to play the clip so you can hear him. He says, people say casinos bring crime. We'll have crime without the casino. I know that. I know that crime is going to exist in the city of Danville. That does not mean that we then have to make an atmosphere where more crime is then being brought on. Now, let's look at one more news story. Let's look at this. This is a news story coming out of Massachusetts. Are you ready?
New at 11, city councilors and law enforcement are considering extending a ban on new pawn shop licenses in Springfield. They want to stop any new pawn shops from opening in the city for the next 2 years. Police Commissioner John Barberi told 22 News the concern is the upcoming casino and how people with a gambling addiction might behave.
That's proved to be I think the city has to be pretty concerned about, you know, those people that are, addicted. And I think we have to be very careful about the people that we grant licenses to make sure that, they're honest businessmen. That's the key.
Now, do you hear what he's saying? In Massachusetts, they're having to make laws that you can't even open a new pawn shop within 2-year window of the casino coming in. Why? Because we're worried about the addicts. We're worried about how the people who are addicted to gambling are going to react. Okay, if they're willing to pawn off everything that they have, do you think that maybe they'd be willing to break into my home? Do you think maybe they'd be willing to break into my vehicle? I've had a whole set of golf clubs stolen out of my back seat. I learned my lesson. I don't keep golf clubs in my back seat anymore. But I'm saying, you think that type of stuff won't be happening? Anything, y'all. And they will break your windows just to check to see if you got anything. They might open up your, what used to be an ashtray, and say, how many quarters y'all got in here? This news group and the police of that city said, we have to worry about the people who are addicted. What is this city council member saying? Folks say casinos bring crime. Well, we'll have crime without the casino. Here you go. Listen to this.
It's not casino come resort of what's best for the city of Danville. Some of the comments have said it's casino come resort, we have an increase of crime. This was said it's casino come resort, we have an increase of crime. If we do not have more jobs in our area, we will have an increase of crime. I think when you look at the total picture, some people say, well, the more issue, we already have gambling or a form of gambling, lottery, already in place. to see the possibility of growth in our city moving forward with the things that we have already in place and things that will be developed. Our schools, the capital improvement, over $100 million.
That's just an empty number. Remember that now. Those promises are empty. The numbers he's throwing out, they don't owe that to you. And he said, people say when the casino comes, crime's going to go up. And he says, we'll have crime if we don't have jobs from the casino. Y'all, the casino is not producing anything. It's not manufacturing. The only way that place stays in business is everybody who goes to it keeps losing. Otherwise, they would go out, and then all those jobs and tourism and entertainment would be gone. It doesn't work that way. I know that Larry Campbell is more educated than that. He should have a better Bible understanding than to reason that way. Did you hear him say the moral idea? He said some folk want to go the moral route and they say we don't need gambling. He says, well, we already got gambling. That goes back to that man who came to the city council meeting and he asked for a strip club. You know what he could have argued in the same way that Larry Campbell argued? Larry Campbell says, well, we've already got gambling. So what's more gambling going to hurt? That one visitor to the city council meeting could have said, well, you know, there are places in town that sell pornography. So what's wrong with having different forms of pornography? I'd like to have a strip club. That's what the guy said. That's Larry Campbell's reasoning. If you already got gambling, lottery tickets, what's wrong with having more gambling, a full-blown casino, where you can go and play on what is expected and anticipated to have 2,000 slot machines, where you can lose, who knows the anticipation of money that you can lose, whatever you got, I guess. But here's his reasoning. Y'all, look at this. Do you recognize when I'm saying the anticipated crime rate, Danville Register and B, deadly trend? Data shows Danville had state's highest per capita homicide rate among cities in 2016. Police chief cites gang activity for the surge. Y'all, there was another story that I'm not going to have in here, and I don't remember what the statistic was, but we were second only to Portsmouth, Virginia. Little old Danville, Virginia. We are very, very high on the crime rates. Look at this now. Someone might look at this news story and say, well, that was 2016. Well, here's still a 2020 compare city crimes. This has been a long-standing known fact. Danville has a larger crime rate than Greensboro, North Carolina, and we are a fraction of its size. We cannot afford more crime. I said something the other day about, I was talking with my dentist, and I asked her about the casino, and I said, I think it's ridiculous. I said, I think it's ridiculous that they're going to put it in Schoolfield. I said, Schoolfield is a poorer area, and she said, honey, Danville is poor. Well, they're bringing in the casino, and they're giving you these expectations and these estimates of just how much you're going to get out of it. If you're watching the commercial, the estimate is you're going to be driving a Ferrari. You're not going to be driving a Ferrari, and you're not going to go down there and everybody looking business casual. Like I said, it's going to be people blowing their cigarette smoke on you, asking you, can I have $5? Because I want to try that one-armed bandit one more time. Let's wrap up. For our new viewers who are for the casino, and look, you saw it. That was little old Durant. Let's talk about what's going to expectations for little old Danville. Let me insert some Bible as I go out. Do you believe the Bible or not, y'all? Now, Danville, it's been called the city of churches. I'm not proud of that by any means. They're all divided, and that's awful. But look at Proverbs 11:11. By the blessing of the upright, the city is exalted. The leadership that you have going on in Danville right now, your city is not going to be exalted, but it is overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. They are not standing up for you. They are not thinking about your best interests. I have no clue why nobody voted no. Proverbs 14:34, righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. Matthew 7, verse number 12, do good to your neighbor. The only way you can win at the casino is if your neighbor keeps losing. That is not good for the city. You know that's not good for the city. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Y'all need to basically be strapping in for some hard times because you're going to be losing money. The crime rate will go up. I'm saying statistically speaking, it's going to happen. Those are estimates. Those are expectations. Who knows? Look, y'all, we said we were making a response to the fact that their commercial came out today, and we say, who knows what they're coming up with next? Don't fall for that advertisement. Those are just advertising tricks. Look at the studies. Look at the evidence. Look at the horrendous news stories. Do research on little old Durant and see how awful it is. Now, don't forget, you want a yard sign? Get in contact with us. We'll try to get you a yard sign if you want one. 276-806-3641, and then that's my phone number. And as we go out, start asking these Danville pastors where they are. Are they for the casino? Are they just going to let it come in, or are they going to actually open their mouth and say something? Vote no in November on the casino. Friends, we love y'all. Love the community. And that's why we do what we're doing. If you want more questions, more info, get in touch with me at 276-806-3641. Love y'all. Love your family. I want the best for you. Y'all keep asking, what does the Bible say? God bless you. All right, remember y'all, vote no in November, casino. Brought to you by the Danville Church of Christ and What Does the Bible Say?